What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. My name's Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave and Chris. Jose is out to dinner, just having a lovely evening while some of us get down to work, get down to business, to talk about Inter Miami's next Leagues Cup match against Tigres. But before we get to that, I want to give a huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias, Chao, Abu, Ava, and Marivi. Thank you so much for your continued generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, there is a link in the description wherever you are listening. So be sure to check that out. We also have a link to our merch store and also a link to our Discord server where we chat all week long and just talk about whatever anyone wants. So check it out if you guys are interested. And now let's talk about Inter Miami versus Tigres. The reason why we're recording on a Thursday is because Tigres played against Puebla last night, and they ended up winning 2-1 pretty late. But by way of that win, Inter Miami have essentially locked in their spot in the next round. Now it's just a matter of seeding. So, yeah, it was the best possible result.
Yep, sure was. Now we just got to look at who we're going to play next. So seeding. So it just comes down to what happens Saturday, honestly. It's either going to be, I think it's Red Bull, Toronto, or who's the Mexican team? Oh, my God, the team that we played in CONCACAF, Pachuca. It's between those three right now, and they're actually really close to each other. I think the points are 2-1-1 because they've all tied, and it's been a mess in that group. So Saturday is very telling to see who we're going to match up with. It's my opinion, one of the MLS teams, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, nice to see that we've moved along. It's good to see that Tigres won, but kind of struggled. I think Puebla was down a man. They were down to 10 men, and they were up late in the match. So that's actually nice to see. So, hey, we're on to the next one. Saturday's right around the corner, and it should be a good one regardless.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because I know Ian Frey didn't start last match. I'm curious to see how, if we let the dogs loose against Tigres, or if they kind of use that as a cushion, as to kind of like rest some guys for the next round, and not completely rest them, but give them a breather, not play the whole 90 minutes, and just. Again, it gives more flexibility to Tata, knowing that you're already through to the next round, to the knockouts. So, yeah, I mean, just curious. I feel like every match there's another opportunity for Tata to really like flex his tinkering abilities. So we'll see. We'll see what this next match's lineup looks like. Sorry.
We know he loves to flex that tinkering.
Yeah, Tata's the tinker master.
He does, but that is a good point. That now that our place is secure, this is a pretty good opportunity to try some different things out. We'll see. I imagine we'll continue to see David Martinez integrate with the squad, so he'll likely be in the starting lineup. But maybe some people get afforded some extended rest, and we rotate in some younger players. We saw Dos Santos last time. I imagine Drake Callender will be back, but I guess we'll see on Saturday. A lot of teams oftentimes rotate goalkeepers, especially for cups, domestic or international. That's very commonplace in European leagues and European tournaments. So it'll be interesting if he sticks with Dos Santos. Excuse me. I thought he was fine. He wasn't really tested much last game. I expect him to be tested, or whoever's between the sticks, to be tested quite a bit more against Tigres. Despite eking out a win, I thought they created a lot of dangerous chances by way of their crosses. It seems like they're just cross merchants and just cross at every opportunity. So that'll be really interesting. And I do wonder if that mixes it up, because at times we can be susceptible to crosses and set pieces. So it'll be an interesting one for sure. So
do we know when the next game would possibly be? I think what I'm seeing is the 7th or the 9th or something like that. So that'll probably take into play if you rest people or not. So if it's a week, you don't really need to rest too many people, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that.
Yeah, something that I saw today that I thought was extremely interesting, and it reminds me and gives me a little PTSD from last year, is that because of how Leagues Cup scheduling is structured, the team that makes the finals, or the teams that make the finals, they'll end up playing like 5 matches within like a 19-day span. So it's like a match every 4 days, or just shy of that. That is a crazy schedule congestion. So
Yep.
now might be the last opportunity to really rotate players before a grueling month potentially comes up for this team, and for any team that makes a deep run in this. So I think I do think that is a big consideration for Tata as we head into this match. So why don't we talk about what we think the lineup is going to be? I think that's a perfect transition there.
I mean, this is such a Jose realm question.
It
Like
is.
he loves to bring out the whiteboard and start going 1 through 11. Jesus, am I like, is it 11? Oh my god, I can't. I'm brain farting right now. Yeah, it's. I have no idea. I mean, the one person that I know that we have to have out there is gonna be oh my god, I just said his name. The right back, Ian Frey. They're gonna use Ian Frey for sure. With Chris saying that they're just crossing merchants, I think Ian Frey's presence is so huge. Because what did you not
Who
say
said
that?
that?
Who said that?
I said it.
Who said that?
It's a rough
Not me.
night. It's a rough night, guys.
You
Tough
okay
start.
with that?
Tough
What are
start.
we, 6 minutes, 7 minutes in?
Got a long way to
One
go.
of one of you guys said that Ian Frey didn't say Ian Frey. Somebody, these guys are good at crossing. We're gonna put Ian Frey in there. He's gonna muck it up. He's gonna do great. Chris, what do you think?
David, go to sleep. It's time to
Oh my
sleep.
god.
I'll be
Long
me.
day.
No, yeah, I think I'm really excited to see Bright again. Bright's been very, very his level of play has been very, very high. He has been playing a lot of games recently, so maybe he's one of the guys that we kind of sit. I don't think we could really afford, not really sit, but to rest. I don't think we could really afford to rest him just because of who we're missing right now in the midfield. But yeah, I'd be excited to see what he does against a higher level opponent like Tigres. I'm sure they'll be there to although they're also into the next round. I doubt they're just going to take a back seat and just let's whatever happen. So Yannick Bright is going to be fun to watch as well. But what I'm really, really curious about is what our attack is going to look like. We all know that Luis Suarez needs his rest. His knees aren't the same. He's been playing a lot lately. He hustled a lot the last match, like we spoke about. So will Campana be in there? It may be a chance to rest Luis Suarez a little bit. Or does he need to be out there since he was in international play just to get run with the team and get reps and more reps? So that's going to be really interesting to me is what we're going to do with the attack.
Yeah, and sort of to piggyback off of that, not just to rest Luis Suarez, but maybe to just, as much as possible, try to get some confidence in Campana. Just like he's been nowhere. So
yep.
If by some way he's able to find the back of the net, that might be a huge confidence boost. He was really important in the Leagues Cup run last year, obviously, because we didn't have Suarez. We had Martinez just dummying all over the field. But it could be a really big opportunity for Campana to get into form, because he's been really absent the last 2 months, 3 months. But we'll see. I agree. I think the attack is where the most questions come into play, or the most opportunity for mix and matching comes into play. Do we see Alfonso instead of Taylor? Do we see maybe Gressel instead of playing advanced? Do we see a David Ruiz appearance? Do we see Matias Rojas pushed up to the front line? There's a lot of interesting sort of permutations, and yeah, we'll see. It's a great opportunity that is like the risk reward to go up against a good team like Tigres and test some players, while knowing that if the result goes against us, it's still okay. Like, we may get a less favorable draw perhaps, but also since the other side is up in the air, like you were saying, Chris, we just got to go and try to get our result, regardless of who we throw out there. But if we lose, we're still through. So I don't think we're playing the game of like, oh, let's just like throw out a super experimental lineup and we kind of want to lose. I don't think we're thinking that way. But since there's no real downside, then I say tinker away. I think this is a great spot for all the reasons we've outlined. Not least of which is just the congestion upcoming, which gives me a lot of hesitation just because of like the average age of some of these position groups is worrisome to say the least, and injury history and all that stuff. So we don't want the wear and tear to break them down. But this match is going to be played in Houston.
In Houston.
Right? Yeah,
that's Tigres' hub for the Leagues Cup for this group stage at least.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I imagine it will be a Tigres heavy crowd. I anticipate them to have quite a presence. I think it'll be more of a home field match for them, especially given that Messi, there's no indication that he's going to be returning for this match. So I imagine there will be a lot of Tigres fans in the arena. And Northern Thai Garden guy in chat posed the question of if we believe that the team will sit Messi for the rest of the cup and focus on the league. I think when he's available to come back, I think they'll reintegrate him. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to be back for another 2 to 3 weeks. So there's not really any incentive for them to sit him, quote unquote, when he's available, because he'll probably only be available for 1 to 2 Leagues Cup matches, assuming that Inter Miami even advance that far for him to partake in that.
So. Yeah, and also I don't see much of a rush with the way that we're playing right now. If we keep playing the way we're playing right now, I don't see so much of a rush to bring him back. If he's not 100%, let's rest him. If we have to go through all the Leagues Cup without him, that's fine. MLS Cup is the number one thing, and right now we're in the running for Supporter Shield as well. So those are keep the eye on the prize, and those are the prizes right now. Those two. Leagues Cup is great and all, but it's not as regarded as these other two. And with the way that we're playing right now, I'm comfortable just taking it easy with Messi, make sure he's fully healthy, and just rolling with the pieces that we have. These young guys are playing out of their mind right now. The midfield in itself is just defense and attack is just playing great right now. So, if we don't have to mess with that, let's not mess with it. Let Messi take a break, get 100%, go on the MLS and Supporter Shield run and run away with that.
That's assuming he's back in 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think he's going to be back for at least 4 to 6 weeks. I think they're going to take the long road to recovery with him. And at this stage, exactly, we've been playing so lights out without him that it affords us the opportunity to really let him rest up and get going at full strength when he's ready. But I agree with the point that Julio made earlier. The one person that we would really like to see get going is Campana. That's the one thing that even in our good run of play, that's been an issue, is getting that production from that striker position. Granted, Suarez was out for a while, but even now that he's back, yes, he was able to score in that last match, but it's kind of been a little bit laborious, and we really need to see Campana take that next step. He's a big component of this team right now, whether he's been playing like it or not. So yeah, for the good of the club right now, it's good to get him going, and also for the health of the club moving forward. If they had plans to sell him, his stock has taken a huge dive with his run of play the last month and a half, 2 months. So let's hope he gets it going, because we all know that Campana, when he's on hot streak, he's among one of the better strikers in the MLS.
And it would be so nice to have something else for teams to worry about. It seems like even with Suarez, and this is not a knock on Suarez, because strikers have their times where they're not necessarily hitting the back of the net, but they're affecting the game in other ways. Like, no opposing team has had to really worry about our striker scoring. Our scoring hasn't been coming from the striker. It's been midfielders and wingers. It's crazy to say, but if we look at the last 4 or 5 games, and obviously part of those matches, Luis Suarez wasn't part of the team. He was in Copa America, but it's been coming from everywhere else and not the number 9 position. So just having another person, another body on the pitch that defenders need to be hyper focused on only benefits us. So we want to see Campana succeed. I want to see Campana succeed. I've had this little bell sitting here since the season started, I think, and I haven't been able to use it but once as a joke.
It's gonna collect cobwebs and start getting rusty down there.
Unbelievable. I gotta polish it like every other day because it's just not getting used. So here's to hoping. But I want to talk a little bit about Tigres. Obviously, their sort of marquee player is Gignac from. He used to play over in France, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But he's a big-bodied striker, very technical. I thought in the match against Puebla, Ociel Herrera was really good, really flashy, got into really dangerous positions. He plays on the left flank, and I thought he was a very dangerous player, maybe the most dangerous player on the pitch. He just found his way into really very Robert Taylor-esque positions where he just cuts in from the left and takes those like big finesse curling shots. And he was really close on a couple of them. I think the goalkeeper from Puebla got his hand to 1 or 2, and he was just like a yard or 2 off on another one. But he is someone that I would watch. It would be really interesting if Frey does play because he would be matched up against him quite a bit. And in the same vein, it would be interesting to watch him against Chelo and see how Chelo holds up because we're not necessarily worried about his defense. But having a dynamic player when our fullbacks tend to get up as much as they do is usually a worry for us. So those are my 2 guys to watch from Tigres. I don't know how much you guys saw of the Puebla match. I don't mean to put you guys on the spot for that, but those are the ones that I'm sort of circling as the team sheets are announced.
Yeah, Gignac's going to be the main guy there, and I think he's going to pose the biggest threat. Especially, I really want to see if we play David Martinez again at center back. I want to see that matchup to see how because we played against Puebla. They're not, the strongest team in the world, so I want to see him against a premier striker like that. If he holds up to the test there, then that's a testament to what kind of player he is. If he doesn't, then go on to the next match and see what he has. But Puebla, he played very well against Puebla, but I want to see him against a team like Tigres, a higher level team like Tigres. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And speaking of Gignac and Messi being out, that was like the premier matchup that Leagues Cup kept advertising in the beginning when in the beginning of the season, really, and now they can't have it. So I'm sure there's a lot of very upset people about that.
France and Argentina, those the two the World Cup teams represented.
Yeah,
Grignac and Messi.
Yep.
Very, very equal talents.
Marquee matchup.
Yeah, and speaking of the players that are available or unavailable, I do wonder because I haven't really seen anything about Toto. Maybe we'll find out some more from training tomorrow. But I haven't heard anything since it was announced that he had a minor head injury last week, which was also seemed to have come out of nowhere. So I do wonder if he picked that up in training and if he's going to be available to us. Because if not, really the only alternative or the best alternative has been Busquets. And I imagine if Toto is unavailable, it will be Busquets and Martinez, because I would be very worried if we started the match with Noah Allen at center back and Sailor's just been lost on the end of the bench. So I don't think that I would have any confidence in him. So we'll see. But I haven't seen anything on Toto, and it just strikes me as odd that he's just sort of picked up a head injury. I feel like that would be slightly more reported on or out in the open. But
yeah, they're secret about their injuries.
Definitely.
They're secretive.
Definitely.
Just had a migraine or something.
Potentially, right. Which
Maybe.
Minor head injury to me has to be not a concussion, but there are only so many head injuries that you would classify as minor.
Like, hit his head on the bunk.
Like migraine is about the only one that you could classify in such a way. Everything else
he's
is
so
like
tall. He's
serious. It's true.
He's 6'8". He could have hit his head on
door frame.
Any
just
door
a door
frame.
frame.
No, he's 6'5". Borgelin is 6'8". Get it right, sir.
So, on that note, should we dive into some score predictions? There's not a lot to talk about. I feel like Tigres beating Puebla took a lot of the juice out of this matchup. So it's kind of like, we're playing this game. We're kind of guessing who's going to be in, who might be out, but there's not a lot of spiciness to this match as there might have been.
Yeah, and chances are, I mean, just looking at the seeding, I was just looking it up real quick. So New York Red Bull have 2 points. Every game has been a tie in that group. They have 2 points. They lost both shootouts at the end of the match. That's why they have 2 points. So it's Pachuca against Toronto. If Pachuca wins, regardless whether it's a shootout or if it's a straight out win, they're going to be the 1 seed in that group. So I don't know. I kind of want to win this game because I don't want to play Pachuca, to be honest. And chances are,
if we win, who do we play?
If we win, it'll be between Red Bull and
Toronto.
Actually, I think it's Red Bull regardless, because whichever team wins, they're gonna jump Red Bull in the standing. So in the group, it's gonna be Red Bull regardless if we win. So I like that matchup a lot more than Pachuca. I could tell you that. Yeah. And I don't know where the game will be played. That's another thing. I haven't looked that up. So if it's at Pachuca or at a neutral quote unquote site. I'd rather not play Pachuca. I want to play one of the MLS teams.
Yeah, the MLS team that smoked us 4-1, 4-2.
And then we smoked them, 5-0, whatever it was? Get out of here. Go home.
Oh, man. So, speaking of 5-2s, score predictions? There he is. Dave Stradamus in the building.
Yeah, I don't think that... It's not that I don't think they're going to take this game seriously. I just think that they are going to rest players and they are going to tinker around. So, Shark, I think this might be the first time I do something like this. I think that we're going to look at a 3-1 loss for Inter Miami, and it's okay. They're due for one of these games that don't go the right way. They've had a lot of good games leading up to this. I know they had that one complete failure against Cincinnati, but I think that they need one. They need one of these things to kind of get the pulse back up, and I think this will be it. They'll take the 3-1 beating, and then they'll be better for it in the long run.
I'm gonna selfishly go with an Inter Miami win because I already explained why. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw, go to shootouts, and Inter Miami wins. That's where I'm going. And Inter Miami wins in shootout. Let's do 4-3. Calendar plays and he blocks 2 of them. Just for fun.
I was gonna say 2-2.
Nah,
I guess I'll change. And Inter Miami win 3-2, and don't go to penalty kicks, but we win in some sort of dramatic fashion. Late 80, between the 80 and 90th minute, we score the winner, and it's just a thing of beauty.
Campana bicycle kick, for sure.
Oh yeah,
give me a Campana match winner, please.
Who's little bell's gonna break if that happens?
Oh my goodness, this thing, everyone in my house will wake up after that match because that little bell will be ringing everywhere. Oh, that would be delightful. But yeah, I think it'll be high scoring. I do think we'll concede more than once. So at the same time, I think our offense has been playing pretty darn well. So I do anticipate it being high scoring. Jose, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Jose wanted me to bring up that on the Hard Rock app specifically. I can't speak for other sportsbook platforms. Also, disclaimer, gamble responsibly. But on the Hard Rock app, the odds for the match have been locked. He thought that was interesting. I don't know if there's been any news on the Tigres side that would warrant them locking the odds, or I don't know if maybe the sportsbook is sort of just waiting on injury news to come out tomorrow and confirmation of who's making the trip or not. But he thought that was interesting, so I'm sharing that with you all. But I do think if the over-under is listed at 3.5, I would take the over and definitely lock in both teams to score. And if you're feeling spicy, parlay that all into an Inter Miami win. So I'm going to say 3-2 Inter Miami. I like the vibes you guys are putting out. I'm going to say Campana scores, and then also Matias Rojas and Ian Frey.
Ooh,
Ian Frey.
love it.
Yeah.
He needs another header. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Tata's been afraid to start him, resting him. But I like that. And yeah, I think it'll be a fun match. I'm excited. Like, even though the juice is gone, I think it's a great opportunity to see one of the better teams that are going to be in this tournament so early on in an inconsequential match. I think it really benefits us, win or lose or draw. I think we'll be better off for it just to sort of get in that groove. Like, we didn't dismiss Puebla or dispatch Puebla so easily, but it did feel very stress-free.
It was a stress-free game, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice to
get
get
pleasant. It was a pleasant day at the park.
We need some tense. We need to just understand the intensity of these matches as we progress, and I think this is going to be a good start because I don't think Tigres at all are going to take this match off. I expect their full effort, and Liga MX teams are known for just physicality and a little chippiness. So I expect
Inter
them to bring
Miami
all
has
of
a
that.
target. Inter Miami has a target on its back.
Absolutely.
Always. So especially in these international tournaments. So we're gonna get their best shot. And I think just to add like a little more difficulty to it, I do believe that Noah Allen will get the start at center back because it was, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, Tata said that it's been a failure on his part not getting Noah Allen more minutes. So I think this is a perfect opportunity. If he really means that, I think this is a perfect opportunity to give him minutes in basically an inconsequential match. So let's see it. Let's see our brave Noah Allen faces out there on Saturday.
Here's a question for y'all. Would you rather Noah Allen start at center back or at left back?
Well, center back all day.
At the cost of missing out on Jordi Alba.
Center back. Why would we miss out on Jordi Alba?
No, if you played at correct. We wouldn't if he played center back.
No, center back because I mean, even let's say I'd rather he play center back and Negri play left back. Correct. I mean,
Ty Garden guy says he'd rather be pooped for all of those.
I still rather Noah Allen be out there. No thanks. But Noah Allen, my main issue with him is when he gets up, forget him because he's not going to be useful in defense and he's not going to be useful in the attack either. So it's a wasted player out there. At least when he's at center back, he's not going to be moving up the pitch, and he's semi-serviceable at times on defense. So even he does have flashes. So, but that's not somebody that you want day in and day out to be your starting center back. But in a game like we're gonna see on Saturday, I think that's the perfect little spot start if you want to give somebody a night of rest.
Yeah, I do tend to agree. Despite his size, I do think he actually is a better center back than left back, but he's a very bad left back in my opinion. So I don't know how much that says, but he does seem he just seems slightly better suited at center back, which is so odd. He just doesn't have the physical gifts necessarily to be an imposing presence at center back. So we'll see. Maybe David Martinez and Toto get the start, which also would be good to build chemistry. But then who do you move in midfield to make space for Busquets? Does Busquets get the night off? There's so many little nuances at play.
I also think Noah Allen's a better center back when we're playing a 3 at the back, a 3 center back formation or 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it, because he has more help. He's not moving up like David said at left back, but he also has someone next to him that doesn't have to cover as much space, so it can kind of help him out as needed. So I think that's really where he thrives. And we all know we don't want to see that formation anymore. We haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, thrives, right? Quote unquote. But yeah, I don't want to see that formation. So therefore, I don't want to see Noah Allen out there. If we have to see him, it's going to be this game, I guess, if we have to. But yeah, I'd rather not.
I mean, if you're going to see him at some point, I'd rather it be this one, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Definitely.
Correct.
Definitely. not in a game that matters too
Not
much.
in a knockout
right?
match, yeah.
Anytime he's warming up on the sideline, I start getting palpitations. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Let's get another goal before he comes on.
It's a tactic that Tata uses to get
It's
our
a motivation
team
tool.
Even when he comes in towards the end as like the defensive help or whatever, like I don't know, I don't see it. I thought that loves to do it in the last like 15 minutes, but it's so scary. David does hate no Allen. Confirmed.
Hate is a strong word. I just hate to see him out there. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah, Noah Allen, if you're watching, we'll have you on at any time. We'll
Absolutely.
keep it super friendly and cordial.
Especially if
we'll
it's
be honored
during the
for you
match.
to be
If
on.
it's during the match, just be on the podcast with us. We'll have a great time.
Oh man.
Nothing here is personal, you know? Just take it easy.
That's right. So with that, is there any closing statements here before we head out?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well,
I'm good.
Saturday night, the match is at 8. I think Chris may be late to that one, but we'll see. Jose should be back for that episode, but we will be live after the match to break down all the action, regardless of who starts, whether it's Noah Allen or not. If Noah Allen does see the pitch, though, we might get some more animated reactions than we would otherwise. So be sure to join us for that. If you guys are watching on YouTube, by the way, if you're still here, thank you. And please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you have not already. It supports the show and it's totally free. So we would greatly appreciate it. And for now, thanks for tuning into the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. And we will see you on Saturday. Bye.
Thank you.